Is comedy really in danger, or has the world just lost its sense of humor? That's the question everyone is asking after Maher found himself at the center of yet another controversy, this time thanks to a lawsuit filed by none other than Laura Loomer. The conservative firebrand and self-proclaimed most cancelled woman in America isn't laughing after Maher's recent joke, and now, she's demanding a jaw-dropping $150 million in damages. That's right, one punchline, and suddenly, we're in the middle of one of the biggest comedy versus politics showdowns of the decade. But how did we get here? What exactly did Maher say to send Loomer into full legal warfare? And more importantly, does she actually stand a chance of winning this case, or is this just another desperate attempt to stay relevant? It all started when Maher, known for his unapologetic political commentary, made a joke that struck a nerve. During a segment on his HBO show, Maher took aim at both Donald Trump and Laura Loomer, delivering a jab so sharp it cut through the usual noise of political banter. He suggested that Trump would only date Loomer if she were his daughter, a reference to the former president's long history of making eyebrow-raising comments about Ivanka. The audience roared with laughter, but Loomer wasn't amused. In fact, she was livid. Within days, she announced her intention to sue Maher for defamation, emotional distress, and, astonishingly, a 9-figure sum in damages. That's right, she's claiming that one joke has damaged her reputation to the tune of $150 million. Let's take a step back. Who exactly is Laura Loomer, and why is she making headlines for something that, let's be honest, seems like just another day in the world of political satire? Loomer has built her brand on controversy, positioning herself as a warrior against what she calls leftist censorship. She's been banned from multiple social media platforms, lost political races, and even handcuffed herself to Twitter's headquarters in protest. She thrives on being the center of outrage culture, whether it's conservatives rallying behind her or liberals condemning her. So, was this lawsuit just another strategic move to keep her name trending? While Loomer might think she has a case, legal experts aren't so sure. Defamation is notoriously difficult to prove, especially when it comes to public figures. For one, Loomer would have to demonstrate that Maher's joke wasn't just an opinion or satire but a deliberate lie made with malicious intent. Given that Maher is a comedian and his entire job revolves around making fun of public figures, this is an uphill battle. Satire and parody are legally protected under the First Amendment, and courts have consistently ruled in favor of comedians in similar cases. Remember when Sarah Palin sued the New York Times for defamation? That didn't end well for her, and this lawsuit might be headed down the same path, but let's talk about the money. $150 million? That's more than the GDP of some small countries. It's an astronomical number that raises eyebrows even among those who might sympathize with Loomer. What exactly is she claiming this joke has cost her? Loss of reputation? Emotional distress? Loss of future career opportunities? Given that she's made a name for herself by embracing controversy, it's hard to see how this one joke has irreparably harmed her standing. In fact, if anything, it's given her more publicity than she's had in months, and let's not forget the irony of it all. Loomer, who has built her brand on free speech and attacking cancel culture, is now trying to silence a comedian for making a joke. The same people who often argue that words are just words when it comes to offensive rhetoric are suddenly claiming that a joke is worth millions in damages. It's a contradiction that hasn't gone unnoticed, and even some conservative commentators are hesitant to defend her lawsuit. After all, if every political figure sued every comedian who made a joke about them, late-night television would cease to exist. Meanwhile, Maher has remained relatively quiet about the lawsuit, possibly enjoying the free publicity it's generating for his show. This isn't his first time facing backlash, and it certainly won't be his last. His brand thrives on controversy, and being sued by a far-right figure like Loomer only solidifies his image as a fearless provocateur. He's been in the game long enough to know that legal threats like this are often more about making headlines than actually winning in court. As the internet debates whether Loomer has a legitimate case or if this is just another publicity stunt, the broader question remains, where do we draw the line between comedy and defamation? Should comedians be held legally accountable for jokes that offend? And if so, what does that mean for free speech in an era where political satire is one of the last remaining spaces for public criticism? The fact that this lawsuit is even being discussed as a potential threat to Maher's career speaks volumes about the shifting landscape of comedy, where even a well-crafted joke can land you in legal hot water. And then there's the question of Donald Trump himself. The former president has remained unusually silent on this lawsuit, which is surprising given his history of jumping into controversies that involve his name. Maybe he's too busy with his own legal battles, or maybe he sees this as a fight that won't benefit him in the long run. After all, if Loomer wins, what's stopping someone from suing him over his endless stream of insults and accusations? If anything, Trump should be one of the last people supporting this kind of lawsuit, considering his own reliance on political attacks as a key part of his strategy. But let's be real, this case is unlikely to go anywhere. It will make headlines for a while, generate endless debates on social media, and provide plenty of content for late-night monologues, but in the end, the chances of Loomer walking away with $150 million are slim to none. If anything, this lawsuit will serve as yet another example of how politics and entertainment have become more intertwined than ever, with legal battles replacing Twitter feuds as the new way to settle political scores. So, what does this all mean for the future of comedy? Will comedians start censoring themselves out of fear of being sued? Will satire be watered down to avoid offending anyone? Or will this case serve as a reminder that in a free society, jokes, even the harsh ones, are protected? One thing is for sure, if every hurt feeling was worth $150 million, we'd all be billionaires by now. And as for Laura Loomer, whether she wins or loses, she's already succeeded in what she does best, keeping the spotlight on herself.